Hey, this is Joel. Thanks for checking out this video. In this video, I want to show you kind of an advanced sort of technique on how specifically to get your vocal to sit on top of your music without you necessarily having to reduce the dynamic range of everything in the music. A lot of times to get a vocal to sit out front, when you understand the use of dynamics processing, compression particularly, you can use a medium-ish attack for your vocal so that a lot of the transient edge comes through on the vocal. And this vocal, which was fairly heavily compressed when it was tracked, actually, I've got a 25 millisecond attack. That's a pretty slow attack in that it allows all the consonants and things through, so it sits pretty well out front of the mix, except when all the other elements in the mix themselves are very, very dynamic. And this is kind of a country tune. It's kind of laid back. It's a full band thing, but it starts out acoustic, and bass comes in, and the whole band kind of kicks in. So let me just play this for you and get a vibe of kind of what's happening in the track, and then I'll show you what I've done to make the voice stand out a little more.
Every heartache and jukebox has a love song. I got just enough spunk to fuel my bones, 10 feet tall and away I go to chalk it all up to trying before I move.
So you hear his voice really well.
Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the move, Miss Good at two shoes. I'm just trying.
Frequency-wise, there's nothing really fighting with his voice, so you can still hear his voice pretty well, even with all this other stuff going on. But what feels the most out front? Is it not the acoustic? Which I like the vibe of a lot, by the way. Okay, so what I could do to make that acoustic sort of tuck behind his voice a little bit is I could just compress the acoustic track with a fast attack that will grab the transient, like a peak style 1176 type compressor or something, which actually I do have an 1176 style plug-in. Where is that thing? On the acoustic. Anyway, but I've got the attack about 12 o'clock, and that's actually slow-ish relative to what the 1176 is capable of. But anyway.
Heartache and jukebox has a love song. I got just enough.
So now I'm going to do something.
My bones 10 feet tall and
I want you to listen.
I go to chalk it all up to trying
what's the most out front, particularly when everything kicks in.
Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the move, Miss Good at two shoes. I'm just trying to be old-fashioned.
Aren't his consonants now the most out front?
While every rose petal says you love me not, my feet are in the surest pair of boots I got.
So again, let me cut to the chase a little bit more here. This is without the processing that I'm going to show you. Listen to what feels. Close your eyes. Listen to what feels the most out front.
Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the move, Miss Good at two shoes. I'm just trying to be old-fashioned.
Put the processing in. Now what's out front when he sings?
While every rose petal says you love me not, my feet are in the surest pair of boots I got. So please,
so his voice is more out front now.
Don't mind me asking.
Now I haven't changed the level of his voice at all. I could just turn him up, but all that's really going to do is make him louder. It's not really going to bring him out front. What I'm discussing here is a technique to make things a bit more three-dimensional. So what have I done? Well, on this voice track here, you'll see I've used a bus 33. It's just the one I chose. No particular reason for 33. It's just kind of far down the list. Pre-fader send. So it will not be affected by any automation levels, that I make, level changes. So it's consistent send. And I just choose arbitrarily minus 6 dB is what I send pretty much most of the time. Not really any particular reason. I started doing it years ago, and I've never stopped. So, and then I've come up here and I've put compressors on these subgroups. Now, just so you know, these are kind of masters that I've created, like all the electric guitars. These are all electrics here, and they're all going out bus 41 and 42. And so my electric master here is bus 41 and 42. These aren't really masters. These are auxiliary, stereo auxiliaries, and these two are mono auxiliaries. This is for the bass and for the vocal. The effects returns are here on this master. Anyway, so this is kind of my internal summing, more or less. And what I've done is on several of them, the acoustic guitar, the electric guitar, the percussion, the background vocals, and the effects returns, I have put this compressor. Now, I won't generally use the same setting on everything, but for demonstration purposes, I pretty much have. I've just copied it to all of these to kind of show you. But basically, these compressors are all keying off of bus 33. So they're ignoring the audio that's going through them, and they're listening for the vocal. So when the vocal plays, it's compressing.
Yeah, Mama said, Daddy,
so when he's singing, it's cutting a couple dB off. And then nothing when he's not singing. So as a result, the acoustic guitar, when he's not singing, is real out front and it's real natural. The electrics, actually, same deal. But when he's singing, they're controlled. And so his voice winds up being the dominant thing.
Up to trying before I move on. Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the movements good at 2 shoes. I'm just trying to be old-fashioned.
And then I'm going to bypass these. Oh, let me do this here. Then I can do them all at once. There we go. Bypass them. Okay, same thing, bypassed.
Before I move on. Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the movements good at 2 shoes. I'm just trying to be old-fashioned.
So you can hear him there, but I want to feel him without having to turn him up.
While every rose petal says you love me, not my feet are in the shoes.
Now he's out front.
Now
this is kind of a subtle thing, and I can also tell you if you're listening with headphones, even good ones, you're probably not quite grasping the same effect of this. Get some good near-field monitors and listen with the highest quality monitors that you can. Sorry, my voice is just, my mouth is not articulating right now. So this is kind of a subtle thing. If you're new to compression, you may or may not really be able to tell what's going on. Again, don't try to listen to it as much as just kind of feel it. I'm going to play it one more time and just show you. That's not right. Here we go.
Before I move on. Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the movements good at 2 shoes. I'm just trying to be old-fashioned.
Okay, and then I'm going to take it off.
Up to trying before I move on. Yeah, Mama said Daddy had to make the movements good at 2 shoes. I'm just trying to be old-fashioned.
So this is a technique, and I've put it over buses here. You don't have to put it over buses. A lot of times in the mix, it's just 1 or 2 elements maybe that are competing with the vocal, and you can just do it over that. So I've kind of thrown it over the whole thing to sort of show you. But it's a really, really neat trick because it keeps you from having to do quite so much automation. And a lot of times the things that we tend to want to reach for the faders to make things louder, to hear things more. And really what we need to be manipulating is not so much the volume of the things as much as the dynamic range of the thing. And this is not really affecting volume per se as much as it's affecting dynamic range. And so it's containing the leading transients of these elements, particularly on the, let's see, where's the chorus?
And you can show me
there's a tambourine in
and
here.
you can turn your head when I lean
So I'll kick this in.
midnight blues, or when I still tell
Now his voice is out front.
It's
not loud, but it's out front.
come out of not holding back.
So I hope that makes sense. I hope that play with that. Next time that you've got elements in a mix where the frequencies aren't fighting. Sometimes you have overlapping frequencies and you need to filter something away to allow the vocal to sit out front a little bit more. But sometimes you have something like this where you like the natural feel of the stuff, but you just want it out of the way of the vocal. Well, this is a great way of doing that, because if you just ride the level of the vocal, you're just going to wind up with a loud vocal, and people are going to be going, wow, that's too loud, and it's still not going to feel out front. This is a way to make it feel out front. I hope that makes sense. Play with it. Leave comments or questions in the remarks area below, and please check out my blog at joelcameron.com. Thanks for checking out this video.